Remember to like and subscribe. I caught my wife with AP in our bed, and I throat punched him and kicked him out of my house. Oh boy. This is a lengthy piece. We have been married for 11 years, no kids. We were a pretty chubby couple until 2 years ago when I had a blood test and it came out that I was prone to contracting diabetes, gout, and hypertension. It really scared me, and we both, bit by bit, started to have a very healthy life. I went from 117 to 85 kilograms and my wife, let's call her Jane, from 83 to 65 kilograms. We felt great and, needless to say, I never developed those diseases. We went to a gym almost daily in the afternoon where AP worked as a coach. Let's call him Baldy. When my wife started getting into shape, I noticed most guys turned to see her. I felt so proud of her. She is fairly busty and she has magnificent legs. Of course, Baldy wasn't the exception. I noticed Baldy likes to check women's butts. I've seen him do it several times, and he likes to show off how ripped he is. When Jane and I were regulars at the gym, I noticed she was enjoying the attention she got from men. Once we were using the elliptical machines, and in front of them was a cable machine. Baldy took off his t-shirt and started doing crossovers. I turned to Jane and said, "Can you believe this guy?" But she was staring at him and wet her lips. I saw Baldy and I swear he was grinning. I felt crushed. I mean, I was getting into shape, but I am not as muscular and fit as he is. When we were driving home, I made a comment about Baldy showing off, and Jane said, "Really? I didn't notice." I told her, "You were staring." She said, "I don't remember. I must have been thinking of something else." I shrugged it off and kept driving, but from that point on, I noticed they were talking more frequently at the gym. Some weeks later, Jane was doing sit-ups using the Smith machine. Suddenly, Baldy went to help her. "Isn't he nice?" He was touching her waist and I got angry. She finished the first set, and I got there and told him, in a nice way, "I got it from here." Baldy just smiled and told me no prob buddy, he calls everybody his buddy, and walked off. Jane knows me very well and heard my angry tone. She just said, "OMG op." I told her, "We'll discuss this at home." At home, the drama blew up. She called me immature and jealous. I told her I noticed he was trying to get into her pants. She said that she knew that, but that she would never cheat on me. I asked then why she let him touch her, and she said she didn't want to be rude. About an hour later, after arguing, we agreed to change gyms. So we went to another place to do exercise, but Jane was resentful towards me in the following months. Her argument was that I didn't trust her. In the third month after we changed gyms, a very good opportunity opened up in my job, but in the afternoon. I took it, and we had to attend the gym at different hours. I went in the morning and Jane in the afternoon. This is when it all went south. Jane's resentment increased, and we barely speak. I sent her messages telling her about my day, that I miss her and memes. But she rarely replied or just said, "Yes, okay, same here, ha ha ha." I was very worried and proposed couple therapy. She said I was the one who needs therapy because I'm the one with trust issues. I agreed. I was so desperate to fix our marriage that I even thought it was all my fault. So the following year, I went to therapy, but Jane's behavior didn't change. We weren't intimate anymore, she never was in the mood. I snooped through her phone but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. I searched her car for a second phone. Nothing. I tracked her phone and map history. It only showed me house, work, house, gym, house. Whenever I tried to talk to her, she just said she felt that she was having a 40s phase. It'll pass. I never had any evidence of cheating, so I continued working and worrying. We live in a condo. The security guard, a very cheerful man called Mr. P, greeted me. We chat a lot. He was touching his shoulder and told me yesterday he had to move a heavy sofa and he had some pain today. I was sympathetic and he dropped the bomb. "Maybe you can arrange a meeting with your massagist." I told him, "Who?" He said, "The guy who came yesterday to massage Mrs. Jane." It took me a second to process this. I told him, "Do you have a video of him?" I think he noticed I was pale and hurried to show me. Guess who? Baldy, of course, has come a few times to massage my wife. I took the day off and started investigating. I asked a coworker for his car, and in the afternoon I followed Jane. She parked her car at the mall where the gym is, and there was Baldy waiting for her. They giggle and behave like a couple. I'm almost in tears. They walk a couple of blocks and go into a residential area. I tried to follow them with my phone ready to record, but the guard stopped me and asked, "Can I help you?" I just said, "What a nice couple." Do you know them? He said he thinks they are newlyweds but can't tell me anything else. I called Jane but she never answered. I returned to the mall and wondered, why isn't that place shown on the map? I dial again and I can hear her phone inside her car. That's why. I also found out Jane hasn't attended the gym in 8 months. I didn't know that day was the last day I slept with Jane in the same bed. I returned the car, went home, and called my parents. Fortunately, my dad answered and I told him everything. I was crying, and he comforted me and told me to get the evidence. Obviously, my marriage is over, and I need all the information I can gather while he'll contact one of his friends who is an excellent divorce lawyer. Jane called me when she saw the 2 missing calls. I just told her I was already at home, and she told me I'm on my way from the gym. My butt is killing me, yeah, I can guess. When she saw me, she asked, "What happened? Why did you cry?" I don't know how, but I was mentally focused. I smiled and told her I had gotten the flu. That's why I left work early. Don't come near me, it might be the bug. I'll be tested tomorrow. I'll sleep in the spare room. She agreed. I cried silently and didn't sleep a wink. At nearly midnight, I heard her giggling. I guess she's messaging Baldy, but I didn't find any evidence of her contacting another man. Then it hit me, why didn't I see it earlier? I bet AP is disguised as one of her female coworkers. In the morning, while Jane was in the shower, I took her phone and created a session on my laptop, and put her phone in the same place. We can both unlock our phones. The session works while the phone is close to my laptop or on the same Wi-Fi account. And I saw it. Under a female name, the profile picture was a dumbbell. I entered and most of the conversations were deleted. I guess they use work words as code in case I snooped. Can you deliver the papers to my desk? I know she doesn't have a desk at work. Going to the meeting, where are you? On top of them, boss is in his office. He's clueless, pretty clever. I guess I am the boss because I know her boss is a woman. Jane got out of the shower and saw me. You look worse. Why don't you stay with your parents? I denied the idea, thinking of getting evidence. After Jane went out, I contacted my dad, and he gave me the name and number of the lawyer. I called him and explained everything. He told me the captions are useless since they don't have any factual evidence since it is not AP's name and she was smart enough to leave pieces of conversation that look pretty innocent. I can take pictures of them at the mall, but she can argue they are just good fellows and I can't invade the residential area without her permission because it might get me into more trouble. At work, I was in zombie mode, thinking about how to get evidence. I might install secret cameras in my house, but Baldy rarely goes to my home, and Jane might find them. Unless I'm out of the picture. I texted Jane, telling her I was positive for the bug and that I'd stay at my parents' house because I might need assistance. She liked the idea and told me she would miss me, but she'd call me every day. When I hung up, I called my dad and my brother. When I got home, she had already packed a suitcase for me. She was so eager to get rid of me. I told her I'd take my laptop and then I checked her messages. Boss will be out of the office, want to come to my desk? She sent this message almost immediately after I told her I was positive. Good, she bit. We didn't have dinner, no kisses, no hugs. I noticed she was watching the time twice. From the door, I told her, I'll miss you. I was expecting her to shut the door in my face, but she walked me to my car. And I was gone. My dad and brother were outside the building waiting for Baldy to appear, but he didn't show up. I thought, why did she walk me to my car? Of course. Because Baldy was already inside the building, waiting, perhaps in her car. I came back, hurried to my house, and entered silently. I heard music coming from the bedroom and moaning. Next to the door, there is a sofa. His and her clothes were on it. I put my phone on record and opened the bedroom door, and there she was, my wife, the love of my life for 11 years, with Baldy behind her. I got a very good look at both of their faces when I saw me open the door. Jane screamed and covered herself with the blanket. He went alpha male, immediately walking naked towards me. I took a shot of him doing raw on my wife. He yelled aggressively at me, "Why don't you go for a walk, buddy?" I hit his throat with my hand. I saw this movement in the Mel Gibson movie Ransom. The next second, Baldy was coughing and gasping, kneeling on the floor. I yelled, "Get out of my house!" and kicked him out. I threw his clothes at him when my dad, brother, and Mr. P were arriving at my house. I told them I'll take it from here and closed the door. Jane was still on the bed, covering herself. She was trembling. I told her, "I have never hurt you nor will I get dressed, I'll wait for you in the living room." While I was waiting, I sent the video to my lawyer, and he answered, "Jackpot." A few minutes later, Jane showed up. She couldn't look me in the eye. I started recording the conversation. I asked, "Why?" She didn't answer. "Was I such an awful husband to you?" She started crying but didn't answer. "Do you love him?" Noting. I stood up and hit the table. "Say something, Jane." "Damn it." She opened her eyes wide and started trembling again, like a puppy when scared. I sat and talked calmly. "My lawyer will contact you for the divorce." "Get a lawyer," she finally spoke. "We can fix this." "Fix what?" "Our marriage was over since Baldy was in the picture and you chose him over me." "It was a mistake." "No, it wasn't. It was a choice, you chose, and this is the consequence." "What did you think would happen when I found out?" Silent again. "Go to your sisters and tell her the truth, or I will show her the video." She went to the bedroom and started packing. I followed her and watched. 2 days ago, I was trying to convince myself that my wife was long gone. The person with whom I share my home is not my wife. But seeing her, putting her clothes inside the suitcase neatly, with her gracious movements and those little things I love about her, hit me hard. I went to the spare room and started ugly crying. I heard when she closed the main door. She picked up her clothes that were on the sofa. I made the bed where I caught them and I dropped to the floor. So much later, I called my dad. He told me Baldy wanted to press charges, but Mr. P told him he hadn't re-registered the entrance, so he was trespassing. The condo can sue him. He dropped it and went out. My nosy brother pressed his ear on the door and my dad took him from the other ear to his car. I was exhausted. I didn't sleep well the previous 2 nights. So I almost passed out in the spare room. The next morning, my phone had a lot of Jane's messages apologizing and asking for a second chance. I just blocked her. My Sil called me. Apparently, Jane hasn't told her what happened, just that we're fighting. I guess it's good my Phil is not alive to see Jane's behavior. She was the youngest and his favorite. Mill has senile dementia. All this happened a week ago. Next week, Jane is going to be served.